Me and my theme music. Welcome back, everyone. I believe this may be our first episode of the 2023 season. It took us 10 months to get this thing prepared. It's going to be relatively fluid. We have a co-host, if you will. Young man to my right, a Malik Johnson. We haven't really given him a nickname yet, so I'll let you guys come up with something, and maybe he'll come up with something. But he'll give us a view on, mediocre golf. Cigar. He's a cigar aficionado novice, and he is of all things pop culture for this new generation. Malik, say something to the people.
That was a beautiful intro right there. I felt like I was on Game of Thrones for a second. Thought you was about to say Malik, second of his name, some stuff like that.
Jakari.
Well, how you people doing today? I'm just here to give a younger insight into things. We're gonna kick things off with a little pop culture. Maybe get into the whole Will and Jada situation. Brother Will, we are with you at this time.
Rest in peace. Now, since it is the Nomad Golf podcast, I would be remiss if we didn't go into live golf. I think a lot of things have changed since our last interaction in reference to live. Looks like there may be some type of mea culpa between the PGA Tour and live golf. Live golf just had their season finale at Trump Doral. Huge payouts, big prize purses, which is ridiculous. I believe Team Crushers is the team that won the championship, captained by none other than Bryson DeChambeau. But I believe the big winner this year on Live is a gentleman by the name of Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch. Now, this is the guy who said he joined Live out of necessity because he thought it would be okay just to go play the first tournament, and he didn't believe Commissioner Monahan when he told him, hey, if you guys join, you're going to be expelled from the PGA Tour. So he came on tour apparently because he didn't have a choice, or he didn't believe fat meat was greasy. Turns out, fat meat is greasy, but yes, it also turns out that it was most lucrative for that gentleman. I believe his payout yesterday was north of $18 million, which these are professional athletes. So it's not a nonprofit. They're paying for money. That's what they're playing for. They're playing for money. So what's your perspective on this, MJ?
I'm pretty new into the golfing world. My pops and my granddad have been playing golf, it seems like all my life. But when I look at live golf compared to that of the PGA, it's a younger game. You got a lot more interesting things going on around nowadays. The excitement, the energy that you're bringing to it, the music for one. It's all very exciting stuff. And these gentlemen playing, I understand that they're leaving the PGA and getting themselves suspended or expelled by going to live golf, but it seems like an evolution of golf.
Yeah. It's like Steve Harvey, which I don't want to be quoting Steve too much, but I've been listening to a lot of his motivational talks. But it's like Steve Harvey said, sometimes you got to jump, right? And that's what those guys do, figuratively and literally. They jump from the PGA Tour to the Live Tour. A lot of people in the know, they don't want to admit it, but quietly as it's kept, Phil Mickelson was right. Pretty much everything he said was right. And it's kind of like I tell people, it's not so much if you don't like the messenger, did you get the message? The message was right. They used Live as a leveraging tool to go negotiate with the PGA Tour. And now, all of a sudden, in the couch cushions, the PGA Tour found an extra 10 or 15 million out there to throw at their talent. That never would have happened if it hadn't have been for Live. So you got to give kudos to Phil. I mean, you really do. I mean, they don't want to because it's a tough thing to do because he said some things that he probably shouldn't have said, or he should have phrased them in a different way. And let him tell it. He thought the conversation was off the record, but anytime you're talking to a journalist, the conversation is always on the record. But what he said was true. I mean, my big thing is I understand they call it sports washing. I'm not really sure that I can grasp that whole concept that all of a sudden everybody's going to rush over to the Middle East because all of a sudden now they're sponsoring and endorsing golf. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think them endorsing golf and putting together this golf league is all of a sudden going to wash away their supposed sins against humanity. Let he among us who is without sin cast the first stone. I think we all have our crosses to bear, so to speak, in certain aspects of our lives and government and things of that nature. We all make mistakes. I don't think any amount of money that you throw at it is going to change the mistakes that we made, or is going to change the view of how people view us. But nobody and no regime is 100% good or 100% bad. But I think when you look at Liv and what they've done in a short period of time, one, we're seeing a lot of golfers we probably never would even see play on the Liv Tour and on the PGA Tour.
It's very true.
We never heard of them. So by that standpoint, they're expanding the game and opening it up to opportunities to some people that probably never would have been on tour. And the gift and the curse, some of these people probably shouldn't be on tour, but they're still pretty talented. Then you also look at it from the standpoint of the globalization of golf. I mean, the PGA Tour had the WGC, which was actually, from what I understand, the brainchild of Greg Norman. But now Liv Tours kind of put it on steroids because they actually have the funding and the backing to be able to do it. So they're truly playing a worldwide tour, be it in Asia, be it Europe, be it in some of these places in the United States where the PGA Tour would actually have a tour stop, but now they don't have a tour stop. So these individuals are actually, I mean, the Liv Tour is going out to those places that are forgotten, which are still pretty good courses, and a pretty good fan base for golf, and providing entertainment. And it's a totally different beast. I really don't even consider it competing with the PGA Tour. I mean, it's totally different. It's almost like watching your buddies go out and play. What do you think?
That's what it kind of seems like. It seems like your average day out there on the golf course, you know, with your music and everything. What did they say earlier? They said it was they're in 7 countries and 4 continents.
Right.
See that right there? That's enough for me.
That's huge. I mean, it's a huge deal. You're out there. You got shorts on. They're drinking beer. They're playing music. I don't know what they're listening to. I can't understand most of it, but it's music still. So it's just a little different. It's a little more relaxed. I mean, you don't have a lot of people quitting and walking away because they got to get their mental capacity together and all that stuff, because it's not as much of a grind as it is on the PGA Tour. And once again, these are professional athletes. They're not here to play for free. It's not a non-profit. I mean, they're making more money in, 14 or now I guess 28 events maybe, than they've made in 16 or 17 years on the PGA Tour. So it's almost a no-brainer. Someone comes to you and tells you, hey, I'm going to pay you 10 times more money than your current employer is going to pay you, and you're going to have to work half the time. I don't think the first question you're going to ask is, hey, what's your moral and ethical stance on this particular thing? Because if we start looking into the backgrounds of where all the money comes from, it'll be difficult for us to accept a lot of positions that we accept for some of these corporations, right? So it's not where it comes from, it's what you do with. Take Harold Varner, for instance. I mean, that was generation changing money for him. So what does he do? He sets up a foundation to give back with is a beautiful thing. I mean, a lot of these guys have foundations and they give back, which is a beautiful thing. It doesn't matter so much where that money is coming from, it's what you're doing with that money. I think that's where the difference is made.
So tell me, if you were in this tournament right now, and let's say your team wins 18 million, what are you doing with it?
I'm going out to the desert and I'm chasing hookers and snorting cocaine.
All right then.
That probably is not the answer you're looking for.
It's an honest answer,
But
there are no wrong answers.
I mean, you want to do something you've never done before. I mean, I've never had a hooker, and I've never snorted cocaine. But that's
in the desert, though. I feel like there are more tropical regions that you could go to for those kind of things.
But as I understand it, not that I'm passing judgment, but I understand Vegas is full of cocaine and hookers. So, and I don't want to have to fly too far. That's another thing. But in all honesty, though, if I were to receive that type of scratch, once again, it's life changing. Number one, I think what's the first thing we do, though? I mean, we want to take care of our families, so we make sure, hey, everybody gets a piece of the pie. I'd probably go get me a ranch out in East Texas somewhere along the stream, build a nice little log cabin. I don't need nothing about maybe 5 or 6 acres. That's it. Probably set up a foundation because, hey, that's the right thing to do. That's what everyone says. Hey, I want to start a foundation for undeserving kids, right? Because we love the kids. Yeah, let's say that. I do that too because that's the right thing to do. Apparently, it'd probably be in Chicago, though, because my ex wants to start a hope for undeserving kids. And I call her my ex because she's my now wife, but she's my ex-girlfriend, so I say ex. But yeah, that's always been a dream of hers, so that's something I probably do too, is funnel some money into Chicago. Probably set up shop in Kankakee, which is a beautiful little picturesque town, about an hour outside of Chicago. It reminds me of the Kevin Costner movie Field of Dreams, where it's just cornfields and these little white wood frame houses. Beautiful setting, beautiful setting. So scratch that East Texas thing. No, I'd build a house out in Kankakee in the middle of a cornfield. So yeah, with 18 million. Then I'd probably retire at that point. I probably wouldn't even play golf anymore. Yeah.
I think you'd still play golf. You just
I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it competitively because I mean, when you play competitively, even on the Live Tour, I mean, the amount of hours that they put in, to be sharp on the ring. Because I mean, now I play golf as a release, as an escape valve from work, or used to be work or whatever. But that's their job. That's their livelihood, right? And then a lot of these guys, I mean, they've been putting in this work since middle school, maybe. So that's another thing you got to think about too. So for these guys to be able to cash in after putting in work since middle school, since you're what? And in middle school, you're what? Maybe 12, 13?
Mm-hmm.
So at least they've been putting in work for 18 years plus. And for them to be able to cash in now and jump on Live Tour, and it looks like they're actually enjoying the time that they're spending together, which is different from the PGA Tour. The Live Tour, to me, is more akin to the European Tour, especially with the team aspect, because these guys spend a lot of time together. And while they're trying to beat each other, at the same time, it's still a big family because you see the same people all the time. At every tour stop, you're going to see the same people because it's the same 12 four-man teams. So unlike the PGA Tour where it's more geared towards individuality, this is more of a team concept. And to me, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why the Euros are so competitive and are dominating us on the Ryder Cup, because they have more of a team common bond thought process and familiarity with one another, as opposed to us, where we're more focused on individuality. So not to skip over Live and all that good stuff, but if you think about it on the Ryder Cup, and it's been like that for years, the team format is always dominated by the Euros. The Americans normally dominate the individual. They just want to be in the conversation until the last day when it comes mano a mano. And they feel as if they're far superior than the Euros. But the Euros normally get out to such a big lead during the team competition. And now they have a lot of international players who play on the PGA Tour. And once again, they have that common bond where they're playing for something larger than themselves. They're playing for each other and they're playing for their country. And they spend a lot of time with one another so that they're gelling and they're cohesive. So it's just a different animal that from an individual standpoint. And one individual or an individual mindset can't beat a team concept. You just can't. It just doesn't work that way. And I think that's a lot of what the Americans are finding out over here on Live. They're getting more of that European Ryder Cup mentality because you see the same people all the time. It's a team concept. You've got 12 four-man teams. They travel together. They eat together. Their wives are there. Their caddies are there. It's just a me against the world kind of thought process, which I think a lot of them enjoy. And it doesn't hurt that they're making 15, 20, 30 times more money than what they made on the PGA Tour or what they could have made on the PGA Tour. Now, one of the drawbacks, I think, and this is because it's new and they've gotten such bad publicity, I think some of the courses they play probably could be in a little better shape than what we've seen. It'd probably be better for them if they're not playing on the CW and they can get, some more screen time at another major television sponsor. But I think that's here to come. I mean, you got to think about it. It's still new. I mean, it's a year and a half into this thing.
Yeah, I mean, still got to work out the kinks, but the leaps and bounds that they've gone is amazing at this point.
Right. I mean, it's just like going out playing with your buddies. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, and some of the stuff that they've incorporated in the television stuff, as far as having the on-course personalities out there interviewing the guys while they're playing. Boom, you look up who's doing it now, the PGA Tour. They're doing some of the same things. So not only are they infusing more money into their talent on the PGA Tour, they're taking some of the broadcasting aspects and some of the things they're doing at Live and bringing it and encompassing on the PGA Tour, which is cool. Nobody has a monopoly on good ideas. No one. So, I mean, and kudos to the PGA Tour for being fluid and being able to recognize that, hey, this may enhance our coverage. This may enhance, how people view us, which, once again, is another good thing for the PGA Tour. Now, I think they handled it. I don't think they could have handled it any worse when Liv came onto the scene. I don't think they could have handled it any worse. But I think they're trying to figure it out now.
Well, you see little brother come in there with success. You're like, you're going to take notes.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, see the shit to get off the pot. You got to make a decision. And I think what stings a bit is how hard the PGA Tour tried to tie the money into 9/11 victims, and they got to tugging on everybody's heartstrings and started having people thinking with emotions. And it's just like politics. They were playing politics with it. And that's how politicians get away with, getting most people to vote against their own best interests, because they play on their emotions and people look at things from an emotional standpoint. It's almost like bringing a knife to a gunfight. I mean, it's a losing battle. And then you turn around and you find out, oh man, now they're in cahoots with Liv. They're looking at trying to put together a deal for the backers of Liv, which they weren't so much upset with the players. They were focusing on the money, is what the PGA Tour was doing. They were focusing on the money and the origins of the money and calling it blood money. And people should be ashamed to be able to say that they played for this regime and all this stuff. And they turn around,
doing the same thing,
and take the money. So it's a little bit hypocritical from that standpoint. I mean, if you're going to believe in something, I think you got to stand 10 toes down and believe in it and stay steadfast no matter how much money it is. Because, I mean, the thing is, it's not like the PGA Tour and those players are making minimum wage. They're making good money. I mean, they're making really good money. And then if you think about it, a lot of the big name people, supposedly like Tiger and Rory, I mean, these guys who have made hundreds of millions of dollars, playing a game were not involved in, supposedly not involved in any of the decisions that were made to be a part of or to start receiving money from the same backers of Live, which is mind-boggling to me to be able to say that. I don't know if they're being honest with us when they say those things, but needless to say, I think Live is going to be a success. I think it's going to be around for years to come. I think it's actually making golf more fun for young kids such as yourself.
It seems exciting. It seems really exciting. It seems like something I myself would be able to get into and be energized by, versus looking at the not to offend anyone, but looking at the old PGA and it's so quiet you can hear a fly fart.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing though. I mean, you just gotta look at it from the standpoint is that everything's going to be fluid. Everything's going to evolve. I mean, you can't stay in the same place, because if you stay in the same place, you're not getting better. I mean, even the great Eldridge Big Cat Tiger Woods would say, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I mean, here's a guy who changed his swing 4 or 5 times at the top of his game because he wanted to get better. I mean, it's the same thing with the PGA Tour. I mean, they've had a monopoly for years. I mean, they basically used the European Tour as a feeder tour to poach some of their better players to come over here to America. And a lot of times the reason they came over to America is because they can make more money over here than they can make over in Europe. Same thing with Live. I mean, the guys that left for Live, if they're being honest, and I think most of them have been, they said, hey, they left for the money. So if you're a professional athlete, you can make more money somewhere else. You're not really concerned about the political standpoint, because we shouldn't look to our athletes to be a political stalwart for us. I mean, they shouldn't be our role models, although I guess a lot of them sometimes are.
That's not their job, though.
Exactly. They shouldn't be the role model.
It's always good to ask somebody their opinion on certain subjects, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're not the experts, and they got mouths to feed. That's the biggest thing.
Right. And a couple of those guys, I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't want to be playing golf or having to play golf late in their 40s and 50s and 60s. They want to play because, okay, hey, I just want to go out and play. So that's one of the things. I mean, they have an opportunity to make some life-changing decisions for their families and their kids and their kids' kids with the money they're making. So, hey, get the bag while you can. Enjoy it while you can. Make the best decisions. Start your foundation. Give back. Do all those good things, and then move on. And I think, for the most part, from what I've seen and what I've read and Refs to Live and the PGA Tour, I think they're getting on the right side of things, and they're getting on the same page with one another. Which I think inevitably that was going to be the end result, but I just think the PGA Tour took a different route. I mean, they tried to do everything they could, and I can't remember who said it, but this one gentleman said that, hey, you can always trust the Americans to do the right thing once they've tried everything else. It's kind of the same thing with the PGA Tour. You can look to them to do the right thing in this situation, because Phil told us what was going to happen. I mean, he comes off as a soothsayer in this thing. You can trust him to do the right thing once they've done everything else that's failed.
So, in your opinion, do you think that Live Golf has the potential, in the either near future or far future, to become that go-to when people talk about golf over PGA?
I think that'll take a while. I think that'll take a while. I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime, because I mean, I got maybe.
You got at least 30, 40, 50 years left.
I got maybe 10 to 15 more summers in me.
So they got modern advancements and the medical field.
Yeah, well, I know they tried putting a pig's heart in the guy. I mean, he didn't survive, but I mean, I like to see him trying that kind of stuff. I wouldn't do that for myself, but I think Liv is going to carve out its own niche. And it all depends on how long the Saudis want to keep funneling money to them. That's what it's all going to depend on. Because you still got to look up, it's a startup. So they haven't turned a profit yet. It's been a year and a half. They haven't turned a profit. They probably won't turn a profit next year either, or even the year after that. But the thing is about the PGA Tour, they have a for-profit arm and then they have a non-profit arm or whatever, which that kind of muddies the waters a little bit, I think. But with Live, I think it's bringing in people like yourself though, who don't traditionally look at golf that way. It's bringing in the top golf people, right? I mean, because it's more of a relaxed atmosphere, which that's what people want.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about the old school golf, it's always stuffy, you know, the collared shirts and tuck your shirt in and no music playing on the golf course, which is the opposite of what you see at every course you go to now. I mean, every course you go to now, you got people got the shirt out their pants. I mean, they got these boom boxes playing, smoking your cigars or what have you. You're drinking, but it's still golf. It's still fun. It's still enjoyable. And I think Live is just a different form of that. I think the traditionalist way, I think that's fun for certain people and it's enjoyable for certain people and it serves a purpose for certain people. But then there's also people who want to get into the game, but yet they don't want that stuffy feeling. And I think Live provides that outlet for those individuals too. And I think there's room for both. I think there's room for both. If that answers your question.
You know, I think there's always room for both when you come to any event or any, you know, competitive company. But there's always going to be that one company that's like, you know, ain't enough room for the both of us.
Right.
It reminds me of that conversation that when Master P had an interview talking about Suge Knight. Suge Knight called him up and said, "Hey, there ain't enough room for the both of us out here in LA." Master P told him, "So when you moving?"
But see, well, here's the thing though. That's what happens though. The thing is, if it gets to that point, it's big bank take little bank, and a government like Saudi Arabia is just going against a private entity like the PGA Tour. They have more money as a government than the PGA Tour has. It would be like, I mean, hell, they have more money than the United States.
That's very true.
And they can put as much money into it as they want. And the thing is, the individuals they put at the head of it, not Greg Norman, but the actual president who's over that fund, the Saudi fund, he loves golf. So I think as long as he's there, they're going to be there because he sees the value in it. And then eventually that's going to give them a foothold into to the PGA Tour, which I think that thing will get worked out. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to move into different avenues. They'll probably move into basketball. They may move into football or whatever and create the same thing that they created for golf. They may be able to move into those avenues because, I mean, money is all intertwined. It's a global thing. So to use them to be like, oh, well, you know, you're taking money from this particular regime. Their money's everywhere. And they're invested in everything.
It's very interesting that you say that because one of the founders of the Big Three League, you know, it's the league that's out there competing with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our beloved Ice Cube.
O'Shea Jackson. Yay.
I just noticed, I want to say it was either a month ago or a few months ago, he was out there in Saudi Arabia himself.
Yeah.
Meeting with some of the officials out there. So that'd be a very interesting turn of events if they started bankrolling the Big Three League.
Well, I mean that's one of the things. I mean, the NBA apparently is treating the Big Three the way the PGA Tour was trying to treat Live, because he was looking for not so much backing, but almost kind of like a co-sponsor or an endorsement and say, hey, the Big Three is good. You guys should watch them and check them out. So, and to be honest with you, Live, I think their business model is kind of set up similar to how the Big Three, where you have teams and then you have sponsors who can purchase those teams. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of going to be the same road that that Live is going to as well.
This might be a whole new evolution of sports, you know, come 10, 15 years from now. You might not have these big names that you have like the NBA, the PGA. I wonder if they'll step into MLB. That's a hard topic, but those guys over there, they're already making big money and enjoying doing it.
Right, and the thing is too, I think baseball needs to change some of the things that they do because it's somewhat of a boring sport. They got to figure out how to do something livening up, which may be an avenue that they can look at and be like, okay, hey, we can start our own thing, but we can make it a little livelier than the current product that's being put out on the baseball diamond. And I, by no means am I a baseball expert, but I just know that it just seems to be a little boring. It needs to be sped up a little bit. It takes too long.
Well, you got 9 innings to figure it out.
Yeah, for me, it just takes a little too long. But hey, did I hit something?
You stopped the recording on that one, Pops. I don't even know when you stopped the recording, or it might have just went into. Might have a time limit on itself.
Oh, it may have stopped at 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that was the golf portion.
There you have it.
Somebody needs to stop that. Then we need it. So that was the golf portion, and then we'll move over into cigar.